Well, tough time to be a City fan these days. Not a tough time to be a Tottenham fan. That look from Ange says it all right there. This was an awesome day. Put 4 goals against Manchester City. Let's get into this.
1 month, Man City have lost twice against Tottenham Hotspur, conceding 6 goals. How? Witchcraft, surely. Or Mario Kart power-ups. No blue shell for City, I'm afraid. We sit here today in a situation we've never...
They're just in a downfall right now, that's all it is. It's not like we're doing anything that nobody else is doing. It's that their city is in a downfall.
Never seen before. Pep Guardiola has lost 5 games in a row for the first time in his managerial career. They have a big problem, and that problem is named Timo Werner. What on earth is going on? Hello, hope you're well. Welcome back. I've been on this earth for almost 3 decades now, and I still can't explain Tottenham Hotspur. Can anyone explain to me how a team can lose 2-1 to Ipswich Town at home?
Hey, don't interrupt my victory lap. He's interrupting my victory lap with this brutal crap.
Team that hasn't won a Premier League match in 22 years, only to go away to the best English club of the last decade and give them their first home defeat in 52 games. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but if I were, I'd put my life savings into Fulham looking like prime 2008 Barcelona and Spurs looking like 2008 Derby County when they play each other over the weekend. You can use that bet if you want, but if you do and you win big, expect an invoice from me. Here we have the last 6 games for Spurs. Somebody, please, make it make sense. It tells you all you...
It's so frustrating, man. The Crystal Palace loss. We beat City. Beat Villa. Galatasaray, that was a tough one. I actually circled this game in Turkey. I circled that one as soon as we got the Europa schedule as the loss for us in the Europa League. I knew that this one was going to be tough. Not because I think that... I don't know. Maybe I'm being cocky. I don't know that they're that much better than us. I just know that environment was going to be really tough to win in. But then to lose to Ipswich Town, this was the one that pissed me off the most. Losing to Ipswich Town. But glorious return from the break. The glorious return to play against Manchester City and put 4 goals against them. Man, what a game.
Somebody, please, make it make sense. It tells you all you really need to know about what you can expect from this team, and the simple answer to that is, that was your first mistake, expecting something. Never make any assumptions, it's just better that way. The actual answer to what's going on right now is that Postecoglou has a very direct, distinct, aggressive approach that he doesn't tweak all too much. Which basically means that when they're down, they keep pushing. When they're up, they keep pushing. What he's trying to do ultimately is entertain, and when it works, my God, it works so well. But when it doesn't, a lot of teams know how to take advantage of them. Ipswich, Galatasaray, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Newcastle, not Manchester City. Going into this game, Tottenham were without Mickey van de Ven or Christian Romero, their starting centre-back pairing, so perhaps...
That's actually important too. You got to get Mickey back. Because we put so many players forward that you've got to have your studs, your defenders back there.
There was a little bit of a sense that things could go awry for them. Radu Dragusin made his share of errors when he's played this year. For example, he got cooked by Victor Osimhen against Galatasaray, but this was a chance to show what he's made of. We're going to talk a lot about James Maddison as we go forward in this video, as you've probably already guessed by now. He's been very up and down so far this season, very inconsistent, so that led to him not getting selected for the English national side, and right now is a little bit crucial because, you know, new manager, Thomas Tuchel, all that. He probably took that to heart and got straight to work in the international break. He's clearly done enough and put enough work in for Postecoglou to put him in the center where Kulusevski's been playing lately. On the other side of things, for the 5th time in a row, we're all left questioning what's going on with Pep and Man City. But maybe we don't have to rack our brains too hard about this one, because maybe this game was just like the one against Brighton, and it was just him extending his hand in friendship with Manchester United. Maybe not. Things have gotten so bad that Rodri is over here trying to divert attention from his club by saying Vinicius needs to pay more attention to the pitch and less on outside stuff. Bro, the Ballon d'Or...
That drama, man. That drama is... It kills me. What's crazy is I thought that the drama of the Ballon d'Or situation would actually be a hot topic, so that's why I like made like 3 videos on it to like kind of really dig into the drama. Dude, those are the worst performing videos on this channel. People are so over the Ballon d'Or drama. In fact, I didn't even release my 3rd video on it because the views tanked so hard on those videos. People just don't care about the Ballon d'Or drama. They're like, guys, forget about this.
Was weeks ago. Why are we still talking about this? I honestly can't recall the last time I've seen this many quotes and clips about Rodri outside of post-match interviews, press conferences, which he's contractually obligated to do. But you know what? If you're ever going to pick a time to start sharing your opinions and your feelings, why not do it when you have a golden ball by your side? Anyway, while he's been coming out of his shell and giving his opinion more and more off the pitch, Man City have been getting battered on it. You think Pep Guardiola maybe saw how much crap people were talking about Rodri and him not deserving it, that he decided to go out and show everyone just exactly how much he did by losing? City have conceded 14 goals in 5 games. I honestly cannot believe it.
It's beautiful.
2 teams scored 4 against them, and one of them was managed by probably the best manager on the entire planet right now, in my humble opinion, that is. Pep just signed a new contract with City, which is great and shows solidarity for the best manager to ever step foot at the club by several hundred country miles. And it also shows that Pep himself has a heart. With all the speculation going around about what the future might hold for Manchester City, given the looming verdict, everyone's been saying that, if they're found guilty, one of the punishments that they should receive is being relegated. Here we have Pep Guardiola committing his future to making that happen beforehand. He's taking matters into his own hands. Players are underperforming. Phil Foden won the Player of the Year award last season, but has looked like a shadow of his former self so far in this season, even though ironically he's actually been, in my eyes at least, one of the better performers for City during this terrible stretch. Kyle Walker's been disappointing. Erling Haaland's currently in a slump. Mateo Kovacic is a fantastic player, but he's
crazy too, because when I first came into football, like I've only been a football fan 2 years now. When I first came into it, Erling Haaland was like he was at the peak of his ridiculous debut in the Premier League, where he was scoring a hat trick, it seemed, every single time he stepped on the pitch. And so I thought, this dude is an absolute alien, and he's kind of dropped off a little bit since then. He's still an amazing striker, but after becoming a fan of the game and watching a lot of it, he really frustrates me with how he just kind of roams around and gets maybe 3 or 4 touches a game. Now, if your 3 or 4 touches a game are goals, that's great, but it kind of feels like he does nothing. And I know that that's not fair to him. He's a great player, and I'm being unfair, but it's just kind of, I don't know. There are other players I prefer to watch over the way that he plays the game.
He's not a Rodri replacement, and also he's injured. Rico Lewis is already a top player in my eyes, but teams are growing more and more confident against City, taking the game to them and being more physical. He seems to be struggling a little bit. I think overall I sensed a bit of, desperation from City from the start of the game, some nervous energy here and there. Spurs just seemed to outclass them in almost every aspect throughout the entirety of the game,
hear it,
and simply did not stop. Screw protecting a lead, I'm putting everything on Werner. That's the kind of man we're dealing with here when it comes to Postecoglou. And I appreciate that we have a character like that in the Premier League right now. Even better that it's a Spurs coach. Never a dull moment. So let's get into some of the finer details from the game. From the very start, despite finding himself in acres of space, Haaland just kept failing to convert. In the 4th minute, here he is. He chooses to take 1, 2, 3 touches before having his shot deflected. A very uncharacteristic finish from a man that's really pretty much mastered the one-time finish over the past couple of years. This would prove to be a precursor of things to come for Manchester City, and Spurs would make them pay for it only a couple of minutes later. So I spoke at length about Manchester City a couple weeks ago and all the problems that they're having, in my opinion at the very least, and the general feeling there was that they would at least come back from the international break a little bit better. Players that were injured would have time to rehabilitate and get back to their better form. Arguably, they've gotten worse since coming back. Everything from midfield battles to basic covering of men in space to shutting down passing lanes and shutting...
There's got to be something in their culture that's going wrong. Like, that's the only thing I can think about. How does a team coached by Pep Guardiola, with the talent that they have, how does that team drop 5 games in a stretch? Only thing I can think is that there is something that's happened in the locker room, in the dressing room, that the culture of the team is just deteriorating. Because I don't know how you go on a stretch like this at that level. Like, this is like bafflingly bad football from Manchester City for 5 games. They've given up 14 goals in 5 games. I don't know.
On the flanks, they're just being exposed so dearly. So throughout the match, City did their usual routine of trying to win the ball high up the pitch and get themselves on the front foot. The only issue is that they weren't very good at doing that in the game, and when it failed, which it often did, Spurs were in more space than R9's gap tooth. Like I said, I thought that at the very least City would get better because of the returns of Manuel Akanji and John Stones. This did not happen. For Spurs' first goal, Dejan Kulusevski does a fantastic job of shaking Josko Vardiol and has all the time in the world to look for someone to find in the box.
Pedro Porro pulls
Vardiol away to allow that space, and here comes Maddison with a late run, who has no problem with leaving Ilkay Gundogan in the dust. In the actual game, you could hear Gundogan signaling for John Stones to cover Maddison's late run, but he can't actually do that as Solanke is right here in front of him and is moving towards the ball unattached. It goes over to Maddison and he taps it in from close range. This move just happened too fast. Kulusevski's ball is too good, Maddison's running line is too direct, Man City did not stand a chance whatsoever and were too disorganized to do anything about it. Now, to me, the best example of the gap and the precision that these two teams displayed on the evening is best illustrated through the second goal. We see how potent Spurs is in attack, and we see how dreary and out of form Manchester City look right now. Only 6 minutes after conceding the first goal, City are trying to play it out from the back, and it's Josko Vardiol involved in the sequence once again in a bad way. He misplaces a pass and puts it.
I don't think there's a thing in football that I love more since I've been a fan than scoring a goal after a turnover in the opponent's half. That's why I love gegenpressing so much. If you can, I love forcing turnovers in this third of the pitch and then scoring a goal off of it. There is nothing better than that, in my opinion.
Right in James Maddison's path. Maddison moves it over to Son, who City have just about had enough of being on the opposing end of goals by him, and again, City failed to track the late run by Maddison. Son reverses it, and with ease, Maddison bags number 2. And this is where that risk factor comes into play, that determination to entertain. Spurs were 2-0 up against Manchester City at the Etihad. They went into half-time with that same scoreline there. You'd think they come out trying to protect their lead a little bit, right? Nope. They come straight.
I think I understand Ange's philosophy perfectly clear. Here's Ange's philosophy in a nutshell. The best way to protect a lead is to score more goals. I'm pretty sure that's just the way he thinks. Like, best way to protect a lead is to score 3 or 4 goals. Don't protect the lead by sitting back and taking your foot off the throat. Score more goals, you'll win the game. That's kind of the way he thinks, I think.
Straight out to start throwing men forward.
You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? No, I don't think so.
They pushed the ball up for the third goal, and everyone seems to be willing to join the attack and press forward to provide options. Kulusevski does the initial carry out of his own half, combines with Son, and finds his man in the box. Bissouma arrives late and is free. Porro arrives late and is free. This is Man City's starting centre-back, Manuel Akanji, standing on the edge of the box when the ball is cut back to Porro. And of course, this wouldn't be a true showing and display of Man City's horrible form right now if we didn't include the exploits of everyone's favorite right-back, Kyle Walker. In almost every freeze frame for each goal, we see just how close he is to the eventual ball, yet, when watching in real time, he may as well not even be on the pitch. Notice how I said almost every freeze frame. Here's the third goal. You notice anything? He's not even here! Solanke had to go wide to collect the ball, took the time to pull it back to Porro, and Walker is literally still walking by the halfway line.
Jeez.
He's cooked. In the 93rd minute, Timo Werner cuts him apart and squares it for Brennan Johnson. Werner is fresh here, to be fair. I believe he only came on a few seconds before this run, but based on everything that happened before that, I'm of the opinion that if this happened earlier on in the match, the result would be the exact same thing. Now listen, I know that Kyle Walker is currently carrying an injury that he picked up in the Euros,
That's
a
fair.
knee injury, I believe. Someone might need to fact check me on that one. But still, the fact that he's on the pitch means that this sort of situation is going to keep happening over and over. And when it does, I don't think anyone's going to be too fussed about what's fair and what isn't. For City and for City fans, it is a tiny bit tragic because City were playing some pretty good ball in this game. They had some great chances. They were just very poor in finishing them off. Haaland can't score for his life right now, and they were misplacing passes like crazy. Ilkay Gundogan is nowhere near as sharp as he was for City before, even as he was for Barcelona only a couple of months ago. City are usually so sharp on how they move the ball and beat the press and really make teams pay for any mistakes that they make. But right now, they don't really seem to have the ability to do so. You combine that with the fact that Spurs are this team that just gamble.
I guess I didn't know that happened. I guess I don't follow the transfer market very well. Did Gundogan go from City to Barca and then back? I didn't even know that. I felt like I watched Barca pretty closely this season. I don't remember him playing them. Interesting.
All the time and are hunting down the ball relentlessly like a pack of wild dogs, and what you get is the perfect storm. Listen, if you want me to say it, I'll say it. Man City are in a crisis, right?
I could have misunderstood how he said that though, so I don't know. Y'all let me know.
No, I was willing to overlook the idea of it over the last few games because all 4 of their previous losses have been when playing away. This was only the first match that they've played in this entire horrific run at home, but I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like the crowd was giving them the exact same energy that they've been giving them in all of their away games. So that's not ideal. But like all of us know, as long as City mathematically are in with a chance to win the league, then they're fine. But at the very least,
it's that thing where it's like, it's got to come to an end at some point. Every super team, every dynasty, they always have the end where it's like, they're still great, but there's a fatal flaw and you can see it. It happens to all the time. Yeah. So they're in decline. It's happening. It's finally happening. Somebody else has a chance to win the league. It's probably going to be Liverpool.
We can all agree that the problems that they're having are real and potentially won't go away as quickly as we thought that they would. Meanwhile, Liverpool just seem to be able to get wins regardless of the match situation. This is the most entertaining team to watch in the Premier League right now, no doubt. They'll go down in a game and they might genuinely even look horrific during parts of it, but you just know that they're seconds away from being able to crank up the heat and get the job done. I only watched the first half of their match against Southampton, where they went into the break at 1-1, but I always knew, regardless of what happens after the break, when they come out, if Southampton scores, Liverpool will get the job done. And guess who's next up on the Premier League agenda for Man City? In a post-match interview a couple of weeks ago, Arne Slot came out and said that his team are yet to face a top team in the Premier League, even though they had already faced Manchester United. This slander is unacceptable. Does he not know that we're like 1,000 times better now and are virtually guaranteed to win the league? It only took 2 minutes for United to get their first goal in the Ruben Amorim era. Yes, it was against Ipswich, who've only won 1 game all season. They had more shots on target and drew the match, but Manchester United are back, guys. I know it. Just watch. Hoping to have a Man United.
Hey, it's okay. Don't feel bad. They beat us, so.
Video out later in the week speaking about Ruben Amorim, so you can watch out for that.
All right, you guys, check out Football Iconic. Great football creator. Really appreciate his work. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button for me. It's almost the same as donating to my Patreon because the more likes I get, the better the algorithm promotes my videos. So if you want to help out the channel, that's an amazing way to do it. Donate by smashing the like button. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.